just an honor to be with great field leaders like all of you and your teams. We've got record attendance at this event right now. Just by plugging in, you've separated yourself from the pack.
In a time where the rest of the world is completely chaotic, we not only are focused, but we go do what we have never done before.
What do you think God made you for? Who are you supposed to help? What kind of environment do you want to create?
I want to have freedom. I want to have my 3 kids have a better life. I can tell you it's worth it.
You can either go sit in the corner and suck your thumb and shrivel up, or you can choose to make a difference and do something great.
Take an assessment of your business right now. This is a time where you could put in the early hours, you can put in the late hours.
If you have that passion, if you have that love, the difference in winning and losing is this much. You're going to have to be the toughest son of a gun that's ever lived to survive.
We're doing something special. It's going to be a competition. We coming back to compete. Come on!
As I travel across the country, the most asked question I receive today is, why has A.L. Williams become the most phenomenal success story in the history of our industry, the largest industry in America? I believe it's because we found a better way to build a company. A.L. Williams believes in part-timers. By bringing part-timers in this industry, we found a better way for a person like me to go in business for himself and not give up the security and comfort of his full-time job.
All you can do is do what's right. We sell the best part-time opportunity in America today, the best bar none. And part-time income has become a way of life in middle-class America today. And if you need an extra $200, $500, $1,000 a month, you are double dumb not to come to work at A.L. Williams.
I've been in thousands and thousands of people's homes, and I've never talked to one person yet, not one, in these United States that had any respect for life insurance. I've not talked to one that could see themselves selling life insurance for a living. Everybody I've ever talked to had a feeling and a thought that the only people that sell life insurance are low life, people that sort of can't do nothing else for a living. And basically they're right. But see, we brought a different concept. We brought a part-time concept. We brought a management concept, a team concept in this industry. And we can go into the communities of America and we can deliver to people that need extra income the best part-time opportunity in America today. We can recruit because we don't sell policies. We show people how to save them money. We can recruit the heart and soul of this country. Sell the part-time dream. Folks, this is the greatest part-time opportunity in the history of the world. No risk. We're going to go out and sell with you and recruit to you and give you twice back what you paid for your dadgum licensing fee. It's unbelievable. How would you like to be part-time and run into a Mike Tuttle like Utes did, or Bill Whittle like ain't that something? We're going to have some part-timers do that, folks. We're going to have some people get excited about something part-time, and they're going to go out and make themselves a few $100s or a few $1,000s every month, be happy. And you get a bunch of those people doing that, and you're going to be making a bunch of money, okay?
Hey, that's the reason I came up with the concept of the part-time person in this industry. Because the turnover ratio is atrocious. To ask a guy or gal that ain't ever sold anything, that ain't ever prospected, ain't ever had to live on commission, to go into an industry like financial service, and you know that 85 or 90% of them are going to fail, 2 and 3 and 4 years down the road, and their family be devastated. That's sad. You don't do that to people if you're a good company, if you got a decent heart. That's the reason we came up with a no-risk part-time opportunity. We let people come in this thing on a part-time basis, and all they got to pay is the dadgum licensing fee. And we require our full-time people, our managers, to go out there and make the first 3 or 4 or 5 sales for them. So if they decide to quit,
without ever making a sale themselves, they're going to make a 3 or 4 or 500% return on their investment, right? And they would have learned something about insurance, learned something about investment, got their own program straight. It'd been one of the greatest things in their whole life. One of the biggest fallacies that our competition deals with is they make people go out there and come full time. People like me that ain't ever sold nothing, didn't know if they could sell, that prospecting is humiliating and degrading. Living on commission just tears their butt up, you know? And they gonna make people that got wives and kids or husbands and children dependent on them give up that security and go in this thing full time, knowing that 2 and 3 and 4 years now 90+% of them are not gonna be here at A.L. Williams or any other company out there. And it just wrecks their whole life, destroys their whole career. That spend all their savings, all their investment dollars, their whole life is ruined. Well, that should never happen at A.L. Williams. Folks, you understand it is a devastating thing for A.L. Williams for people to come full time and fail. If we could take a couple of 3 more months and have these people save a little money, just get a little bit more ready to make it, that's the best investment we can make, right? But then you sit down with that husband and wife and you say, now look, if this is what you want to do, you understand, if this is what you want to do, I expect you to make it. But now, folks, what more can I do, dadgummit, than give you the best opportunity and then be an example of success? I can't give you a great opportunity and then do it for you. I can't recruit for you, sell for you, give you money. I can't do that, dadgummit. All I can do is give you a great opportunity, and that's what we do.
Hey, Matt here at Nightglass. We're super excited. We're actually going live to about 3,000 to 5,000 people over YouTube this afternoon. We've got a small studio audience here that we've actually set up a tent so everybody can social distance but actually come back together for some live meeting action. We'll be going live to the other 3,000 to 4,000 people out there in the internet land. We've got a great live drone shot that we're going to bring into the mix of things. 4 cameras, people outside in the tent, people in the studio. We've got tape rolls galore. It's going to be a fantastic day. Check it out. Claudia applauding, crowd out of the left-hand side of the tent. See what I'm saying? Back and forth with the people. Bell does last. You give Bell the mic. 3, 2, 1, and go. You're open.
And you got to go out there and choose to win for you and your family to go get the job done.
And things are going great. We've got about an hour left of the broadcast. We've done 2 live drone shots. We've had guests from all over the country. We've had people watching all the way in Washington State. We're just wrapping up here a couple of more guest speakers. We'll go back out into the tent a little bit more. It's going to be ended up being a great, great broadcast. It's super exciting.
How much I missed this.
You got to make a decision that you're going to do that. Nobody wants to follow a dull, disillusioned, frustrated, daggum crybaby. You can't be a punk and win.
Man, we've had an incredible day. About 4,000 people on the stream. We had a great crowd here watching live, kind of in the studio kind of experience, live drone shots. Jason, TD in here did an incredible job putting all this together. All the stuff in the studio worked flawlessly. Super, super day. We had a great time.
I'm so proud of Andy and the way he builds his team, because he was the perfect leader, and the way he builds his business is the way all those original people built their own company. A.L. Williams was born February 10, 1977, and we had our first leadership retreat at Unicoi State Park. The reason we chose Unicoi State Park is because it was the cheapest place we could get. Rooms for like $15 or $20 a night. And the competition, Prudential, New York Life, all those assholes, they thought we were a bunch of country pumpkins, and didn't know what we were talking about and were crazy. But A.L. Williams, we had a plan. And I wanted to get our leaders off to sort of a private place away from the world. And I wanted to introduce to them our plan we were going to use to spread A.L. Williams all over the country and to eventually go international. And we had a plan. We had a plan. We were born with a plan, exactly how we were going to do it. And if I had to get it down to one sentence, it would be that you're going to build your own company within a company. Ownership is everything. When you give people ownership and freedom to build it as big as they want to build it and never put a ceiling on their opportunity, it's just unbelievable what they accomplish. And we went from Atlanta, Georgia in 1977 to every city, every village, every state in Canada, in Puerto Rico, in 13 years. It was unbelievable. We never had any money to pay people's moving expenses. These people would just find a place they wanted to go. Bill Arunda was our first one that wanted to go to Dallas, Texas. First RVP promotion after those original 7. And so we gave people just a map of the United States and a map of the globe. And we said, you pick out where you want to go. You build as many RVPs and give them an opportunity to build their own company within a company. And Bill Arunda took notes of all these early meetings, those 13 years, and he titled it Locker Room Notes. And so the first meeting, we talk about, we had big goals, a big vision. We wanted to beat Prudential. We wanted to destroy trash value insurance. We wanted to give our people a chance to build their own company within a company and build total financial freedom where it could be a generation to generation thing where they could pass it on to their family. It was just mind-boggling how big our goal was. And as I said, we had a plan, ownership, where you build your own company within a company. And we went to Unicoi, and I put that stuff down on paper, and Bill Arunda printed it in this book. And Andy, I'm so proud that you're taking your 30 people back to Unicoi where this thing started. And history is so important. And if you capture the history of A.L. Williams and you try to copy that, it is mind-boggling what you can do. So y'all have a great meeting. I wish I was with you. I miss you every day. I miss A.L. Williams every day. But we had our chance and we did it. I love you guys.
From Unicoi State Park and the site of the first ever A.L. Williams Leadership Retreat in 1977, it's Get Big or Go Home, a virtual event experience with Senior National Sales Director Andy Young. And now, here's your hosts and Unicoi Glampers, Darla Gore and Rob the Red Baron McGeever.
with a live audience. Can we see them one more time?
Yeah, I was telling Darla earlier, I was like, I forgot my soundboard, and I was just like, oh, it doesn't matter.
We don't need it, right? We've got people to do the calls from the audience, people to like clap and say that we belong to an SNSD factory. Oh, that was awesome. Every time it brings tears to my eyes. I don't even know what to say. So it is going to be an action-packed meeting. We have so much stuff. I was like probably 5 hours trying to shove everything into the 6 hours that we have to spend with you this weekend. You guys are going to not believe what we have put together. I say that every week because it's true. Even I don't believe it every week.
Yeah, this one's going to be huge. So yeah, can you run the graphics for the social so we can show people how they can interact with us? So we're going to be using the hashtag SNSD Factory.
Oh!
And you know, the AU is silent when you type that in. So,
how do you spell that? Do you know how to spell that? I've been working on that.
I've seen a couple different people spell it a couple different ways. But yeah, if you use that hashtag on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and it's a public post, we're going to be able to get that on our wall. So can you cut to the wall real quick?
There we go.
Here we go. So we want you to be interactive with us. We want to see you on here. Yeah, so Ray just posted 3 minutes ago, so now it's here. If you can go back to the graphic, we've got, if you're using Facebook, you need to mention us at Let's Get Big or Go Home. And once again, you know, emails aren't going to work, direct messages aren't going to work, private posts aren't going to work. But we want you to be interactive. You know, somebody says something you like, tell us about it. You got a promotion, somebody you want to recognize, tell us about it. We're going to be showing it through the whole broadcast. So stay tuned and get your devices at hand.
All right, so next we are going to, there's like crazy sound. It's awesome. All right, let's go to the roundup graphic. For those, there we are. Right, team roundups. This is a quick reminder about why we do this and what we do. It's a 5-minute break during our show. We'll have one of these tonight. It's to be used for a couple of things. We're going to use it so you can reach out to your team members, make sure they're engaged, see if they're online. I know a lot of you are still not able to get together. You're certainly not gathering in any amount of groups, I don't think anywhere. Yeah. George is probably the only one that can do that. So make sure you're direct messaging them, you're texting them, what do they need, can you help them, if they have technology problems, anything you can do to make sure that everybody's engaged. The other purpose for the roundup, it turns out, is to help you with the rally. This helps you keep track of where your people and know how to find them and to teach them how to text us. Yep. So that's what that's for. We'll have one tonight and 2 of those tomorrow.
Yeah, so speaking of the rally, let's start it off. Let's hit that next graphic. We've started the rally. It has begun. And we used the right graphics card.
Yes.
So we've triple checked it.
3 weeks.
And this is it. So RVPs only right now. Just RVPs. And we're gonna total who had the most people, you know, during this session and tomorrow's session, and then we're going to figure out who the top players are and see who's going to win the Rally Award. And later on in the next session, we'll have the chance for everybody on the top teams to actually participate and send it in the way that will count individual persons, you know, trust but verify. But right now, RVPs only. Just text us who you are. We want to know RVP and your last name. If you got a last name like Smith or something, or Charles, there's a couple of you know, make sure you know who we're talking about, and then how many people you got watching right now. So check in. We're going to give you that time during the roundup. So just keep checking in. You get a new number. You get somebody else to come on. Give us an update and just save that text number. That's where we're going to be using that the whole time for the rally. So.
Yes, that is our new text number. We use it all the time. Every week, if you're plugged into Tuesdays, you've already got it in your phone. One of the great things about the weekend that we get to do more than we do in our usual Tuesday things is we get to spend a lot of time on recognition. You know, Art had a very mathematical percentage that he would say you need to recognize a big percentage of your crowd, right? And so we're going to do as much recognition as we can in these 2 hours, and then the 4 hours again tomorrow. Okay, so here's how it's going to work for the first thing that we're going to do today. If I could see that graphic, the next one. All right, we are going to make a call. We call this the call for everybody. Recognition, first of all, is covering May and June. Normally we would be covering June and July, but because of COVID and we've had to rearrange and all that stuff, we're covering May and June only. So if this is your first event, or you have done your first sale or had your first recruit during the months of May and June, you are going to email tickets@nightglass.com And in the subject line, you're going to write which of the awards that you would get, right? So if you've got all three, you're going to write first event, first sale, first recruit in the subject line only. And then magic will occur. You will get your recognition card back in your email. Thank you to Trish, who was diligently waiting.
For me to skedaddle, by the way?
Not yet.
Okay.
A couple more.
Okay.
Well, I'll let you know.
Okay.
All right, you guys, so he's leaving me now. So you will, now I lost my train of thought, thanks.
Then we'll
All
send
right,
you
you
the
guys,
card.
we'll
Then
send
we
you the
want
card, but here's the most important thing. Post it out on the social. Put it someplace out, put it on so we can see it on the wall, so we see it back in Facebook or Instagram, and share with us the card so you got it. And that completes the circle, and it's totally awesome for everybody, right?
Yep.
So let's go wild and crazy. We're gonna go for all three of those, first event, first sale, and first recruit. Next, we're moving to VIP. Rob is now leaving to join his lovely wife, Amy, a long ways across. So let's see the first. We're going to start calling VIPs. If I could see the first VIP graphic, please. The first VIP graphic. All right, you guys, like I told you, these are double-digit recruiters, May and June. We're covering bronze, silver, gold, platinum. Next graphic. And by being a VIP, not only do they get recognized there, but they get to spend time in the VIP huddle tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. When we call your name, you will get an email with your card and the Zoom link. So let's join Rob and Amy as they go through the VIPs, and there are a ton.
All right, guys, we're starting off with Platinum. Let's give a round of applause to the Platinum VIPs. That's over 100 recruits. We got Belda Rubio, April and Rufus Taylor, Edouard Fernandez, Nicole and Linzell Williams, Lydell and Elena Walden, Anthony Hines, Mary Hayes, Olivier and Jamina Brutus, Wesley and Shay Florinord, Derek and Crystal O'Neill, DeWitt Sala, Jimmy and Carolina Pahan, Harry and Adeline Thomas, Chris and Tarsha Gray, Lynn Walden and Sandy Wiggins, Aaron and Lakeisha Thomas, Abel and Emily Diaz, Leighton Brown, Andrea Burks, Miki and Milton Peel, Shay Bond, William and Jerry Austin, Ari and Jeff Parash, Yaneli Fuentes Garcia, Grant Brewer and Jordan Anway, Terry Robertson, Joe and Nadia Charles, Monet and Keyshawn Howard, Terry and Tim Sheridan, Apris Walker, Sean Walden, Stephen and Johan William.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of platinum. I don't need this.
I
know. That's a lot of platinum. There's regional leaders in there with over 100 recruits. That's crazy. All right, so this is the gold VIPs, guys. We got Ariano, we got Rhonda Barnes, Sean T. Walker, he's in the house. We got Walter and Raputa Charles, he's in the house. We got Alexander Charles. We got Peggy and Jaron King there in the house. Ezel and Angela Parker, Jamel and Journey Nix, D and K Anthony, Rocky and Jeff Banger. We got Sarah and Chris Shipe, Shaloriel Banks, Fritz and Yasmin Ari, Khalil Marcano, Carol and Crystal Julian, Broderick and Demetria Lemons, Kimberly and Franzel Whipple, Andy Young and Amy McKeever, John and Pat Lappin, Peggy Gist Hightower, you're going to be hearing with those two, or actually those three here just in a minute. Gus and Joanne Gonzalez, Steve and Patricia Battiston, Mark and Kelly Blast. So, Silver, take it away.
All right, next up is Silver. It's 50 to 74 recruits. We got Darren and Myra Charles, Dina Malika, David and Garci Katan, Donite Kabadam, Brandon and Marisha Reed, Tyler and Samantha Zimmerly, Sylvia and Lou Robinson, Rashida Baker and Tim Lee Ansar, Gashmi and Marie Lassant, Sean and Marquita Hightower, Ralph Allen and Mindy Dagobert, Johan and Ava Otiniano, Felicia and Lucy Turner, Jackie Ashford Ball, Harriet Sarbley, Sabra Scott and Taylor Scott, John Lee, Gigi McGinnis, Jolene Janke and George Tricosis, Joe Jordan, Khalif Lovett, Luis and Ali Camajo, Elizabeth and Nicholas Amaro, Dante and Janine Thomas, Keisha and Herb Wilkins, Matt Harper, Tamara Parnell, Laura Langston, and Don Baxter.
Ooh, there we go. And we got the bronze VIP, 20 to 49 recruits. So you can't get in the VIP if you haven't double-digited 2 months in a row. So here we go. We're going to start out with Vladimir and Martha Rock, Thomas Alexander, Virgo and Pharrell Joseph, Daniel Santos. I got a lot of people here, y'all. Hang on. Kelly and Carlos Navas, Cora White, Savitri Crenshaw, Mark and Letitia Allen, Jamal and Candace Richmond in the house, Tammy and Ron Lewis, Eddie Espinoza, Dana Kirkland, Patricia and Patrick Osigala, Nakia Neal. We got John and Julie Belfort, Angel Lee, Anthony and Sharice Jones, James and Sylvina Balat, Shervin, Sona Bayada. Hold on, I'm gonna take it one more time. Shervin and Obadala, Sona Bayada. SNSD Factory on social media. Let me know how I did on that one. I think I did all right. Zach and Fran Lavin, Nico Ariano. We got Chris, Vanessa Peruccio, Dennis and Adama Garland Jr., Deontay Miller, Rick and Chris Walker, Rodney and Vickers, Oscar Rosales and Veronica Abate, Hamad and Marine Risby. Oh man, Hamad, he won the Rally Award on Tuesday night. Vanessa and Peterson Alcide. We got Roshai Howard, Shay Christopher, Mechini Cherisma, Edwin Robinson, Adrian Troublefield, Adria Herndon, Andrew and Sheba Hakiza, Michael and Jill Kraus, Zion and Matria Israel, Chris and Jody Kowalski, James and Marsha Sherrod. You want me to hand it over there? Yeah. Okay. Doug Medina, Deandra Henderson, Charlie Walker, and Kenny and John Maida.
And Ivy and Belflor Flora Delise. And then Ray and Shannon Rodriguez, Jackie Coston, Lenny and Yvonne White, Paul Miller, Sabrina Grimes, Layla and Pat O'Brien, John Saponaro, Bernard and Kamala Chapagain, Comfort and Prince Barner, Adalia Craig, King Chakraborty, Tanise and Ronald Muhammad, Todd Snyder and Jessica Humphrey, Artemis and Arthur Jackson, Akil and Tarsha Tashamba, Latoya and Brandon Pryor, Jason Dallas, Calvin and Angelica Mitchell, William and Evelyn Kofer Jr., Rob and Adria Recker, Mayancy Villalobos, Sullivan Iglesias, Catherine Saunders, Dasha Jones, Orlando and Taryn Price, Darnell and Kim Johnson, Cindy Avril, Aliesha King, Doris and Noel Rodriguez, Greg and Anna Paris, Leonard Lugo, Marvella Morris, Latonia and Robert Harris, Coone Merritt, Jasmeet Singh, Bernadette Palma, Liz Myers, Taikisha and Elroy Davis, Matthew Dunn, Douglas Forlano, Joe and Madeline Susanna, Kenesha and BK Matthews, Shannon Turner, Stacy and Mark Sitzma, and Landon Wallace.
All right, now we got George and Betsy Costanzas, Richard and Joe Shaw, Suman and Shashi Khanna, Michael and Jessica Humphreys, Natalie Molden, Giovanni and Emily Lindsay. We got Carlton Brown Hughes, Lansing Hamlet, Talisha Colbert, DeAndre Spraggins Jr., Dina and Terrence Franklin, Sharifma Alma Devore, Hillary Nickel, Tanisha Thomas, Evans and Maz Jean Baptiste, Michelle and Terrence Taylor, Ganetta Khan, Junan and James Fertile, Tyree Hardy, Kimberly Summers, Ebony Jean, Lai Nguyen, Sheila Prosser, Tom and Melissa Donovan. Sorry, it's like you're switching between like 4 different phonetic pronunciations of the same letters from one line to the next.
Come on, Rob.
It's like taking roll call at the UN. Gloricia Clark, Tom and Melissa Donovan, Vince and Marla Lane, Aisha Lee, Danielle Bolton, Christy and James Gordon, Pradva Gupta, TK Webb, Alicia and Emilia Jax. Is that it? We got one more page back here. Hold on, it's upside down.
No,
we called those people. All right, man, recruiting machine's on fire.
All right, you guys, congrats to all of our VIPs. Let's hear it for the VIPs. All right, well, next up, we've got a really awesome risk takers video made for the man, the myth, the legend. We call him Pop Pop in our house, Andy Young.
You know, Andy Young was the kind of person that wasn't supposed to make it at AOE, as we believed in recruiting 4 and 5 pointers, you know, people that were married, had kids, owned a home, had a job, making a decent income. And here was a kid right out of college, was a football player. In addition to being a football player, he was an offensive lineman. And all of us coaches call those people the hogs, you know. And so you had a young hog that wanted to go in business at AOE. And so what Andy possessed is what all the great ones possessed. He had the eye of the tiger. Andy Young wanted to be somebody so bad, it was absolutely unbelievable. And you know, we had that first wave of people that came into A.L. Williams, and all of us were coaches or people that played on a team. And then we had this second wave of people, and Andy was part of this second wave of people, and tons of those people became giants in A.L. Williams. But I think as I look back on the history of A.L. Williams, Andy Young was the best of that second wave of people.
I chose to win. That's why I have to be at every meeting. Larry Weidel calls, I'm there. I don't care what else is going on. Bob Turley calls, I'm in. I chose to win. I don't have any decisions to make about that. And you got to get to a point where you don't make any more decisions about that.
So really got things moving in North Carolina. And, you know, once we got to a point where we were about to go to RVP, moved my family to Maryland, moved in with my mom and dad, you know, hauled a U-Haul with everything we had. And got up there, stayed with my mom and dad for 6 months, had a 15-year-old car. I think the company might have been in 13 states, and we were expanding. And so when it finally opened up a year into the business, we were out there fighting every day to see what we could do, you know.
We start off with this little diagram. We got DC here. We got Northern Virginia. We got Maryland. We're selling a dream now. I'm sleeping on the floor. And I said, this DC area, there's a beltway around it. Got the Potomac River coming down. We're going to start right here, and we're going to put offices all around, and we're going to dominate this map. And we get done with this, we're going to head up the East Coast and go take the entire Northeast. But we're going to do, I was broke. I was sitting there with nothing, drawing that map on the board, telling 4 or 5 our you know, brand new recruits, big eyes, and all they knew is I had a vision. I saw something big that I was a part of. They saw something big that they could be a part of.
So starting out, we were in a new area, you know, Maryland, and there wasn't really a whole lot going on there. We were trying to get some events going, some kind of, you know, environment. And Atlanta, of course, was 12 hours away driving, and Larry Weidel was 6 hours away. So we plugged into his stuff every other month, and then we started going to Atlanta. And we started that in a car, you know, it was 4 of us in a car, and then that turned into a van, and then a second van, and a bus, and so we really got things moving. We got 17 buses on one trip.
But it starts small. It starts with 4 people going to Atlanta. It starts with you taking a stand. And that's the way you're going to do something big in this business. And it's going to start with you in that chair.
Well, early in the business, Art, he made no bones about it. I mean, first meeting I went to, Art said, you know, if we're good enough to make it. He said that at every meeting, you know, but from day one, that's what I heard. And I remember sitting, you know, after I built 80 RVPs, I'm sitting in the insurance commissioner's office in the state of Maryland, 29 years old, and, you know, they're trying to cease and desist and all this stuff. And 2 days later, I mean, nothing happened because nothing was going to happen because everything we did was right. And people ask me today, they say, well, you know, how'd you feel about, you know, being under the gun like that and everything you built? You know, you got 80 RVPs and you put everything on the line and the state's kind of coming after you. There was not 1 second I thought we were wrong. I knew we were right the whole time. So, you know, it didn't really matter what they threw at us. When you're right, you're right. And we went out there, we prevailed, man. We got the job done, and look at us now.
How many people know you're in A.L. Williams? Every 7-Eleven, gas station, Stop and Rob, every little store in between my house and the office and back, everybody knows I'm in A.L. Williams. I always have my A.L. Williams jackets on and buttons. I'm always talking a little bit about it. I don't ram it down their throat. I don't take a caveman approach, but they all know that I'm in the business. I'm stupid enough to think that long range, I'm going to recruit everybody. I don't know if it's possible or not, but a lot of people, when they walk in, they think, Well, that's A.L. Williams right there. There he is right there.
Yeah, you know, being a college football player, originally I thought I was going to go to the NFL and have that big career, and that never really took off. And I think the biggest contract when I came out of school was $1 million over 2 years. And I came in here and, you know, was able to build that to over $20 million in pay. I mean, that's an amazing business that we started from scratch, you know, pulling a U-Haul just with dreams and hopes, trying to get something going, you know. It's just an amazing business. Great people to be around.
You know, Andy's record was absolutely unbelievable. In 35 years, Andy produced 198 RVPs, 34 SVPs, 21 NSDs, 7 SNSDs. He had 4 people making over $1 million a year, 106 over $100,000 a year. Andy had a payroll of $2.7 million a month, $32 million a year. $320 million payroll over 10 years. In the next 31 years, Andy's business is going to be worth over $1 billion.
All right. Hey, well, welcome to beautiful Unicoi. Amazing. You know, I've been here 40 years. 43 years ago, last month, or 2 months ago, June, Art brought the first group up here in 1977. He always talked about that. Larry Weidel, Bob Turley, always talked about it coming to Unicoi. And, you know, we had a nice barbecue with the crew here, with the celebrities. We were over there tearing it up. Old Jaron King, I mean, I think he's on his track to win MVP for this weekend. Doing really well, but the barbecue was great. But there's a breeze here in the mountains. There's the low 70s in the barbecue. It's going out into the 60s right now. Right outside here in the mountains. Just beautiful out here. It's just an amazing time. Night Glass, you know, when you think about this team here, they're absolutely amazing. So you guys give it up for them. Night Glass is absolutely great. And Rob and Amy, you know, they've done an amazing job as they're transitioning one organism. The largest organism in the world is the aspen trees in Colorado. They're all related. It's amazing. But you look that up, and it goes from miles to miles, and that's kind of what built a big organization. Yeah, and I think the one that was upside, I'm not sure. But that's what we are, man. We're a melting pot, man. Anybody come here, you get a dadgum solution number, you go take off business you own. Absolutely amazing here. And Rob and Amy, you know, have been doing such a great job here. And Rob had the opportunity to do a little roundtable with Rusty Crossland, Bill Arender, and Bobby Buisson about Unicoi, you know, about what happened right here, kind of these hallowed grounds where A.L. Williams started the birth of a company. It was in one state and looking to do something great. Imagine right here. So we're right here where it all happened. And so if we could run to that tape and see what those guys say about Unicoi from back in 43 years ago.
I remember those fast start schools we had, Rusty and Bobby. We'd walk in the room and he'd have Crusaders, Die Hard, and all these sayings hanging up. And he hated them so bad. He hated corporate America so bad. He hated how people were treated in corporate America so bad. He made sure that we knew that the guys in the wrong colored shirts needed to be defeated. It wasn't just the life insurance industry. It was corporate America. It was the political arms of these administrators in these corporations, like Bob Butterworth. If you remember him.
We all remember Bob. We didn't have a board room. We had a war room. And, you know, that had that sign that said war room. But, you know, one thing about the competition, I mean, Art would always say, no, I just didn't like them, you know, a little bit. I mean, I didn't like them a lot. and one of the things I tell our guys sometimes, I said, you know, occasionally Art would say, you know, it's okay occasionally to hit after the whistle, you know. We can't do that today. And then one comment I want to make about Unicoi before we forget this. But we started doing our own Unicoi retreats at our hierarchy build. I think you even came up and spoke. I know Jenny did. Art came up and spoke. Bob Turley came up and spoke. I think Bobby came up and spoke. But I remember that it became such an incredible event, and I want Andy's guys to hear this, that we open up registration. We have RVPs literally fly into Atlanta and hand me the registration because it would sell out in one day. It became the catalyst probably to expand our business to a point where it probably gave us the platform to where we are today. Unicoi retreat. Our guys still talk about the retreats. We actually started doing them twice a year, once in the summer and once in the winter. They were phenomenal, and it was just a great experience. And Andy's guys are going to have a phenomenal time there.
Hey, what a great treat we have today. I'm one of my all-time greatest friends in the business. I mean, just somebody we grew up together in, A.L. Williams, and fought the good fight. And I don't know if anybody's any tougher than this lady. Art Williams did his seminar last year, and it looks like we're going to put another one of those together again this fall. But, you know, he had Frances get up on stage, and we watched that clip the other night, you know, and it was where he teared up, talking about how tough she was, how he just doesn't know how she was able to do it, being able to raise a family, build a business, and figure out a way to get it all done, eliminating all excuses. There's no such thing as an excuse in her vocabulary. One of the tough people from any way you want to look at it in A.L. Williams in Primerica, and $1 million earner, you know, just has been a mentor for so many people and help people. It's one thing to go make $1 million, but have multiple people in your business make $1 million a year and mentor other people. And when you hear people go over the $1 million, you know, they always talk about the impact and the difference that Frances made in their lives. And as I said, just such a great friend. It's such an honor to have her here with us tonight. So, Frances, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Andy.
All right.
I'm just excited about things in our company and being with you today.
All right. You down at the lodge?
I'm not at the lodge. I'm at my home up in Houston. I just left the lodge, so I go back and forth. I have a house in the country and a house in the city.
All right. Well, we're doing the city house today, so you're looking great.
I'm doing the city today.
Yeah, so what's on your mind? Tell us about building big at Primerica.
You know, my theme for this time in the company is build it big and build it fast. You know, I was there as you were in those early days, and I'll never forget that we had a front row seat to history being made when Art Williams announced to us as a leadership team that we were going to beat Prudential and it was going to happen that year. That seemed like the most impossible thing that could ever happen, but we bought into that vision and we did it. And, you know, today, I think people in this company have a front row seat to history being made in Primerica. I was so excited in January when we talked about the decade of dominance, but little did any of us know that the world would change, and it would change dramatically. And in March, those changes catapulted us. It made us have to go into an era of technology that none of us ever thought we would enter into. We're doing business virtually, and business is growing faster than I can imagine. But let me tell you what I know, Andy. I know that in those days when it happened because we were a recruiting company. We were recruiting to build a business for our families, and today we are a recruiting company. This is the time when if you've ever thought about that word or that strategy or that activity, you need to understand it and do it now. Never in our history have I seen a market more ready. It's like the harvest is ready for the picking. It's time now to go after the harvest with a vengeance. It's time to bring more people into your company. You know, I can tell you that one of the biggest things that I know is that when people get started in this business, the first thing we ask them to do is make a list of the people that they know, because this is a recruiting business in your warm market. And when we ask people to make a list, I just want to tell you that I know what they do. They don't write down everybody they know. They write down the names of the people that they think will do it. They start in their mind eliminating probably the winners before they even give you the list. And that is what I consider putting your inventory together. Your inventory are the names that you collect from the people you recruit, the referrals from your market, the people that you meet. But let me tell you, in the greenhouse business, our inventory was seed. And if I was going to have a crop in the spring, I had to have a lot of seed. And when those seed came into my greenhouses, they came in a box, and it would be thousands of seed. Marigolds was one of our big flowers that we grew. Thousands of them. And the seed the box would say, had a big stamp, 80-20. That meant that 80% would germinate and 20% would never even peep out of the ground. I never went to the greenhouse and tried to pick out the 20%. We put every seed in the trays. We planted every seed. We treated every seed exactly alike. I didn't decide who the winners were. I planted them. And I think that's what people are doing today. And I can tell you that you have names that you know, people that are in your market, friends of yours who know a lot of people, and you're not putting those people on your list. Therefore, they never even get a chance to hear the story. I can tell you that that's where it all starts in the greenhouse, and that's where it all starts here. It starts with your having an inventory of names and talking to. I never operated my business in a defensive manner. I've always played offense. In this era, I'm a little bit defensive right now. I'm thinking that I want to get to my market as fast as I can, because guess what? Somebody else will. This company is growing so fast. Not only did we open up the Zoom, being able to do this with technology, we opened up the company so that now we can recruit in different locations. We've got a whole different world out there for building. I'm telling you, Andy, I've never been so excited about building something big and building it fast as I am right now. But it all starts with recruiting, and it always will be.
Yeah, I think, that's, you think about your early days, you put up a map of the whole, not only United States, North America, because you're like the queen of Canada, too. I mean, you own that in Primerica as well, and you have been a major force since day one. As a brand new person, you saw that vision take over the dadgum world, and now look at where we are. Talk a little bit about how they can actually do that now way faster than any of us did.
Oh, my goodness. Today, with the virtual, the way we're building, you can recruit across state lines. And what I know is in building anything in life, vision is the most important thing. It's how we see it. If we can't see it, we can't have it. And I know that I bought into Art Williams' vision. I didn't even know about this company, but the minute I heard his vision, he said to us, we're going to build across North America in every city, hamlet, and village. And we're going to build some of the most successful people in business in all of those towns. And I sat down and drew my circles. I took a map and I said, and I drew the circles. I didn't have names to put in the circles. I had cities in the circles. And Toronto, Canada was one of those cities. We didn't even have a license in that, but he said North America. Let me tell you something, folks. If you don't have a vision of doing something big, you are missing the boat. You've got to sit down with yourself, spend time in your own head, and think about where would you like to have offices. This is the biggest distribution company in the world in finance. And you have a chance to set up those little outlets of offices across North America. And you can do it today because we're using a virtual method, and the way technology works and the way the way things have happened with being able to get into other states is so much easier today. As a matter of fact, I had to fly on airplanes, drive in cars. I had to have offices set up. I had to hire secretaries. We had so much to hold us back, but we didn't hold back because we had a vision of greatness, and we knew that those places would be where we would dominate. Our hierarchy today is in all through California, the great Cheryl Bartlett. We have Canada, where Randy and Lillian Nelson moved to that country from South Georgia. We did this with a vision, not even knowing for sure how it's going to work out. Today, he's retired on a fortune, and Bobby and Candy Go Cool are not only running his code that makes $1.6 million, they're running their own code that makes $1 million. And other people are going over big numbers. That happened because there was a vision of doing something across North America. We have, throughout Texas, I can tell you that from those seed being planted, from those opening those outlets, A business has been built that millions of dollars is paid out to our field force. Lots of people are totally financially independent. And it was all because we saw a vision of doing something great. And I can tell you, when you buy into the vision of this company, Glenn Williams painted a vision early in this year. And he does this every time he talks to us on POL and on our Monday meetings. Glenn has painted a vision for Primerica that I don't think any of us totally understand how big it can be. Right now, we have to know that the game is on, if the market is open. And we talked earlier, Andy, and I know with this pandemic, people are scared. People that you talked to back in November and December and up until March, they didn't say yes because they were smug. They felt good about their life. They felt good about now those same people are worried. They're looking for something to support their family. Never has there been a time when so many people are ready to hear our story and we can deliver for them like nobody else can.
Yeah, that's absolutely the times we're in right now. And you think about the business you built, because you start out brand new, you put your circles up there. Toronto is one of them. And we weren't even in Canada when you came in, but he said North America. It's like, well, we're going to go ahead and keep expanding. So you got that. But then when it comes down to, you got, I'm sure, $3 or $4 billion in assets under management, billions of dollars worth of insurance in force. You got all these overlapping layers of RVPs, SVPs, NSDs, SNSD, 100,000 to $1 million earners plus. That can't be that simple, is it? I mean, can you really use a simple concept and build all that, or does it have to be complicated?
I think the problem, the reason most people don't do it is they complicate. This is not a complicated business. Is it easy? No, but it's simple. And the hard part is to buy into the fact that it's simple, but it is our mindset. It's a vision. It wasn't easy to think about conquering an industry. When Art painted that picture to us in that famous meeting in Atlanta, and we were going over to beat Prudential that year, we were talking about becoming the largest producers of insurance, and we were going to take down a company that was 109 years old, trillions of dollars in management, and we beat those. We were not a big force, but we had a big vision and a big determination. That's the hard part. It's not complicated. It's simple to do. The complicated hard part is getting your head right, thinking right, seeing that big picture. I can tell you that was hard work. I put together those circles and I started immediately putting together a program to enter into those cities. Everybody that I talked to, I had a little book. I called it my inventory, and I'd show them the map. And I said, do you know anybody in any of these cities? Do you know anybody in any of these states? And I started collecting names from all over Georgia. And then it spread out into about 20 states real quick. And if I talk to you, you gave me your list, people will give you the list of people that are close to them. They'll give you the list they go to church with, they work with, they live in the neighborhood with. They don't think about giving you a name of a cousin in another state or a friend that they live next to in another place. You have to ask for that. You have to expect to expand. You have to expect to get inventory in many other places. See, this business was built on a warm market, a referral business, and I followed that to the letter. Everybody we talked to came from somebody that said, let me tell you a little bit of a story about one recruit away from an explosion. I had a meeting one Monday morning in my office with my full-timers, and every Monday I would ask them to show me their inventory. Well, that morning, nobody had added any names to their list. And I said, we're calling off the meeting. They said, why? I said, we don't have any reason to talk. You don't have any new inventory. So your job today is to go find some names that you can make phone calls to. And they left a little bit disturbed with me. And that night, one of my division leaders called me and he said, Francis, I called my Aunt Mary. She's 78 years old. And at the time I thought, man, that woman's old. Well, I think she's very young now, and I think he should have recruited her. But he asked her, who did she know that was ambitious, hardworking, likable? And she said, oh, Randy Nelson. He's a good friend of mine. So Frank Fowler called Randy Nelson, set an appointment with him. Randy said, oh, sure. If your Aunt Mary said, let's do it, I'm listening to anything she says to listen to. I recruited Randy, and before he got a license, Frank Fowler left the business. I don't know what he's doing now, but he wasn't there when Randy got licensed. Randy opened Canada for us. You know, that's one recruit away from an explosion, and I could do that over and over and over. I'm telling you right now, unless you get very focused on finding people who know people and expanding your vision, they'll never expand their vision. Lord expanded my vision.
Yeah, and I think, you know, that's kind of easy to do when you come from your background, because kind of grew up in a life of a little bit of privilege, traveling the world. You had a nursery. You never had any challenges in the nursery. Nothing ever bad ever happened. And you had, you know, you and Lee and having the kids, and just kind of like that, you know, like a movie scene. And nothing, you know, I want to talk about mental toughness. You know, people talk about the do it speech, and they all go, yeah, do it till the job gets done. And houses ain't selling, sell it anyway. Well, I was everything in my other company. Well, you really they love all that part, but they don't like the first sentence in the speech, which is it takes a certain kind of mental toughness to win in business. And I know everything worked out great for you in your life, so you never had any challenges, but what would you say to the people that might go through a challenge or two, Francis?
Well, let me make a little bit of a correction on what you just said. You know, Lee and I had a great life. We had a 700-acre farm, and an illness took it all away from us over a period of about 5 years, the medical bills. I was facing raising 5 children, a husband with a very serious illness and no health insurance. And I was determined that we would have a life of dignity. When this came along for me and I saw the plan and listened to Art, I knew it wasn't going to be easy. Andy, I had never flown on an airplane but once in my life, and I swore I'd never get on another one if I could get off the mountain. And I had never traveled any further than just across the Mississippi River once. I lived in a small town in Georgia. That's where I was raised. I loved what I did. Don't misunderstand me. I loved farming. Raising plants and animals and children. I would be happy if Lee and I could have carried out that dream. But it didn't happen. I had to learn to drive in a city. I had to learn to fly on an airplane. I had to learn to talk to strangers. I grew up with a dad who told us he only had girls. He said, don't talk to strangers. I didn't talk to anybody. As a matter of fact, I didn't like talking to people. I didn't do groups. I did plants. Plants don't talk. You just do what you're supposed to do, and they do what they're supposed to do. So I came here with a big debt, a big expensive illness, 5 kids that were the young. Sarah, my daughter, who's an RVP today, was 3. Daniel was 7. The others were teenagers. Let me tell you something, folks. Life was not easy, but I had one thing that I thank God for every day. I understood that I was responsible and I could come through it, and there would not be an obstacle big enough to get over if the dream was big enough. I bought into a big dream. My dad and mom had always sold me on the fact you can do anything as long as you keep your faith. And we did that. And today I see people caving when the little things go wrong. Is it going to be easy? I promise you it's not. Is it worth it? It's definitely worth it. It is amazing. As a matter of fact, as good as I thought it would be, it's even better. So, you know, and it didn't take, I've been here since 1981. But we had a big business in 1985. It didn't take long to have a great income. It didn't take long to build a predictable, recurring income stream is amazing. And that's what we did, but we couldn't have done it if we'd caved in to the obstacles. I wish I could. I mean, I'm glad I didn't come from a silver spoon in my mouth. I'm glad it was a little bit tough.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, what were you telling the kids, though, when you're going through all that, you know, out there at nighttime doing what you're doing? It wasn't, you know, like it is now. We'll talk about a couple minutes about what it's like now in the lodge and all that fun stuff, or you can do whatever you want. But, I mean, what were you telling them, you know, when Mom was out there and busting it?
Well, you know, kids are going to be, they're going to live their life according to the rules of the family. If we give in to them, they give in to life. That's just what I believe. I'm a very pragmatic person and I'm very direct. I don't mind telling you the truth. And so I just sat my kids down and I said, okay, here's the deal. I'm not going to be at home a lot. I'm not going to be at the school, because I was one of those mothers that was at the school a lot. I went to the ball games. I said, I won't be at all your ball games. I won't be at your school a lot. I'm going to be gone some. And here's the life we can have if this works out. And I painted the picture. We can go to Disney World. We can stay in nice hotels. We can have nice cars. And then here's the world we can have if I go to all your games. That if I live life the way you want me to, I'll get a job in town. It's going to be tough. They won't pay us a lot of money. We're going to have to keep this car. We're going to have to not go on vacations. So we won't have these things, but I'll be at your school. And I showed them what I would do if we had it without. And I showed them what them doing without would give us if we did it right. And they said, oh, we like the one with the vacations. We like the better cars. We don't want to live like this. So I painted the picture for teenagers as well as for little kids. But I tell you what, Andy, I did. I knew that they wanted their mother at home. I knew that it was important for me to be with them. So I made my schedule so many days a week I could have meals with them. I could be there other days, and I let them know what those were. They lived according to that, and I did deliver on that promise. I'll never forget our trip to Disney World. We stayed in a 3,000 square foot suite overlooking Disney World. They took friends with them. They lived an incredible life for that 4 or 5 days in Disney World that they never forgot. Those were the kind of vacations they wanted. They didn't care if I left home at night and wasn't at home to eat. I'll be honest with you, teenagers really don't care if you're not there all the time anyway. And the little ones bought into the vacation. So, you sell the family the dream and they can make the choices. I told them, I said, I'll do whichever one we want. So when things would go a little bit south and they got a little upset, I'd paint the picture again. This is a business of families working together toward a vision of greatness. And I just know I followed those rules and it worked.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. And you know what? When I think of the old poem "If" by Rudyard Kipling, they talk about, if you can, lose everything and put a heap of everything you got, get back down with worn out tools and go do it again. And I know in life and in business and even Primerica, sometimes you just got to suck it up and get the job done. Talk a little bit about, when everything's going great and then you just got to go get it done. I mean, that's a lot of business. That's just not Primerica, that's life. But talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, when that, and I think that you have to be prepared for that. Anybody that expects things to go great all the time is like a little bit naive. And I know that I would be disappointed. The ups and downs we had. It didn't always go well. Sometimes it turned out a little different. And my goal was my vision was so big about where it would turn out that when those things happened, I regrouped. We had to do that in farming. I'll never forget one year in farming. We sold the most Easter lilies in that part of Georgia of any other wholesale. And not one Easter lily bloomed at Easter. It bloomed 2 weeks. Trust me, nobody loves an Easter lily the day after Easter. So I had to suck it up and understand that there was a problem with the bulbs. I didn't cause it, but I didn't give in to it. We continued to build our market. When this came along, I knew that I would recruit people and I would have a big market, and sometimes they wouldn't work out. Those things, you've got to put your head in the right place, and the right place is the vision and being willing to suck it up and every day know that life is not going to be easy. I remember hearing a lot of great business people in my life talk about making big mistakes in business, and it just looked like it was going, and then it would come back. I watched Art Williams do that. I've watched you and I as we've gone through the building. Folks, listen, it's not going to be easy, and you're going to have to stay focused on the big. If you believe it enough, you're going to still believe it when things are down, and you'll figure out how to use it. We had to do that in everything.
Absolutely. And then talk, if you don't mind, to kind of close out, just talk about your lodge, your vision for that, having the kids down there, and even making adjustments there. You saw that, none of your grandsons, great-grandchildren, they weren't breaking any arms and stuff, and you had to kind of revamp the place and, not have it all prettied up, make it what you wanted. So talk about that vision.
Yeah, well, my vision, we had a big farm. Like I said, Lee and I had a beautiful farm, and we lost all of that because we had to pay for his bills and go into debt. And so I promised my kids one day we'll have a farm, and I wanted that. I loved the farm. And we painted a picture of what it would look like. And I talked to my kids, it'll be beautiful. It'll have beautiful roads and a lake, and we'll build a lodge, and you'll have the freedom, and you can hunt and fish. And we talked about that for several years. Well, when it was time to buy it, the piece of property that I own today was exactly like I had described in my dream selling to my kids. And today, but let me tell you about buying it. Just before that, I had these little boys. My daughters have raised their kids in the city, and they live in nice little neighborhoods in town. And I noticed none of them were breaking their arm or getting bruised up. And I told my son Gregory, I said, you know what? They need some motorcycles. So I went out and bought 6 little motorcycles for dirt bikes for Christmas one year. And it was the parents were a little unsure. Then I realized they didn't have anywhere to ride the motorcycles. So I said, Gregory, it's time to buy that farm. That's when we found the farm. And today that farm has over 15 miles of roads. It's 630 acres. It has a 35-acre lake. Bass fishing is great. They can ride any kind of wheels they want to ride. All those little boys now are grown people. They're graduated from college, married. There's 6 great-grandchildren. That is like a private state park or national park. We have trees and roads and it's just an amazing place to have freedom. It's not, we built the lodge on the lake, and I tell people, a lot of people build a lodge on a lake. We own the lake, and we own the entire lake, 100 acres all around it. So, we just love the freedom of having that beautiful place and the freedom for those kids. Those little kids that are my little 3- and 4-year-old great-grandchildren love it as good as the 32-year-olds. So what a great opportunity to build a legacy, but to have something that you can give them that experience that they couldn't have any other way.
Absolutely.
I can talk about my farm all day, Andy. You don't have enough time for that.
Isn't that great?
The lodge is beautiful. It's built with cypress and pine. It has antique pine floors. It has it's built with some of the history of my family, but it's got the modern features of today's world. It's got a game room with a big pool table. It's got basketball court. We got, a cabin on the property, 2 cabins actually. We're building more. It's got its outdoor kitchen for the caterers to use to fix food for the big family. That lodge is set up for a huge family. We have 15 grandchildren. Several of them are married, 6 great-grandchildren, 4 children who have partners. It's a big family. When we get together, we can all sit at dining room tables inside the lodge. It's not like having to sit on the couch and eat off of a TV tray. So it's fun. It's fun to make dreams come true.
And one of your favorite things, get up with that poodle and a cup of coffee, maybe talk about that.
Oh my God. I just, my front porch is a screen. It faces the lake. And it has a fireplace and a day bed, swing, and beautiful. I'm out there when day breaks. I've got my coffee. If the weather's right, I have a fire in the fireplace. And my dog and I sit out there in the morning and watch the day break and the sun come up and the different birds that live on the lake and listen to wildlife. And when I have friends there, if you were down there at the lodge, we go sit out there and have coffee in the morning. It's the best. It's unreal.
That's great. Go ahead.
It's the life of Francis Avery.
The life of Francis Avery. Well, I'm going to tell everybody, appreciate you being on. If you mistake that pretty face and her kind and gentle demeanor for any kind of weakness, you better bring 2 lunches and fight all day. I'm so thrilled in my life. It's one of the great honors that I got to fight the good A.L. Williams fight, build our dreams alongside of you. You're one of the toughest, greatest people and one of my best friends. Thank you for being on today, Francis.
Andy, thank you so much for having me, and I share those sentiments with your friendship. You're one of those people I know I can call on anytime. I count you like a brother.
Thank you so much. Have a great day out there. Love you.
Let me ask you this, folks. Are you proud of what we've done the last 13 years? Are you proud of our $93.4 billion world record last year? Folks, are you proud of our 6 consecutive national championships? Folks, everything's in place. Nobody can beat us, right? Wrong. Dead wrong. See, folks, we can still blow this thing if we don't keep attacking. The enemy is us. The enemy is you. The enemy is me. The enemy is getting too comfortable, losing that edge, retreating, resting on your laurels. To win, we gotta always keep growing. We gotta always keep moving. We gotta always keep changing. We've gotta continue to set new goals, new mountains to climb. This is a new day in A.O. Williams. I'm happy with everything I see. But you know what? My butt's still burning. Folks, there's something inside of Art Williams that says A.O. Williams is not as great as we could be. We're not working as hard as we could work. There's still a lot more to do in A.O. Williams. What about you, folks? Are you tired? What about you, folks? Are you comfortable? What about you? Can you get it up one more time? What about you, folks? Can your people, your company, your family count on you? What about you? Are you proud? What about you? Are you tough? What about you? Are you willing to fight? Are you willing to attack? See, folks, A.O. Williams is not built to beat Prudential. I'm so happy we did it. See, folks, A.O. Williams is not built to be number one. I'm so proud. See, folks, A.O. Williams is not built to take our people to Europe. I'm so happy we did those kind of things. See, folks, A.O. Williams is not built to make Bob Safford a hero, to make Art Williams a hero, to make Bill Whittle a hero, to spend all your times applauding other people. Yeah, way to go. We're proud of you. You're my hero. See, A.O. Williams was built for you to win, for you to make you a hero. Let me ask you this, folks. What about you? What about you? So what if A.O. Williams does $103 billion in 1990? So what if we win our 7th consecutive national championship? So what? So dadgum what? See, folks, the bottom line is A.O. Williams has failed if you fail. See, the single thing determining the future of A.O. Williams is in this room tonight, and that thing is you. It's your attitude. It's your expectations. It's your dream. See, the enemy to A.O. Williams is complacency. It's willingness to accept good when you can be truly great. It's your pride, your toughness, your ability to attack, not just today, but tomorrow, next week, next year, 20 years from now. That's what's going to keep A.O. Williams on top. What about you?
I'm fired up when I hear him. I just like every time. I've never met anybody who just deliver it over and over continuously without fail. We'll hear more about from Bill Arender and Rusty Crossland. We talked about how Art was always on, always selling the dream, no matter what, all the time, every day, day and night, 24/7.
Only stop to take a breath. Do it all over again.
You wanted to get a word in edgewise. That was your only time to do it. All right, you guys, this is time for our first and only team roundup for the night. Remember what we're doing. We're calling, communicating with our team, making sure everybody's on. Trish, are people reporting numbers? Yes. Ooh, tons of you reporting numbers. We love it. Continue to do it. Continue to update them. You guys have 6 hours to keep everybody going. We're going to run the rally all the way through. All the way till tomorrow at 3. Yep. Right? So we'll tally up tonight, and then we'll add tomorrow's to it, and then you guys will have to verify.
Yeah, get your
the
phones
fun
out,
part.
Get on GroupMe,
Yep.
get on Band, whatever you use to communicate. Get your people, make sure they're on, make sure they're engaged.
Okay, here we go. 5 minutes starting right now.
Oh.
Hey, I hope they found everybody.
Yeah,
I hope you found more, right? While you're out texting, people show up, right?
Get those
I
numbers
forgot,
in.
right?
Get those
Let's get them
numbers
in, get them in. People from everywhere: Indiana, Virginia, Atlanta, Colorado, Chicago, Michigan, yay, South Carolina, Maryland, Long Island, the Rourkes, and Bel Air, Florida. All right, we missed you. All right, North Carolina, Alabama. How's that go? Alabama. Greenbow, Alabama, and Lavelle, Canada. Yay, thank you everybody. Continue to post where you're from. I'm like looking at the comments on YouTube all the time. We're standing up here.
Yep. And then we got the recognition, guys. We're still doing that. So first event, first sale, first recruit in the months of May or June. Once again, in the months of May or June, that's what we're covering right now. So if you just joined the business, got those first milestones, I want you to check in, let us know. You know, hit us on tickets at nightglass.com. Put in the subject line what you did, you know, your first sale, first recruit. We'll send you that recognition. And then I'd love for you to post a picture of you on, you know, using our hashtag SNSD Factory. And use that so it can show up on the wall. If you want to cut to the wall real quick, we got some people already checking in, some silver VIPs from the Crusaders hierarchy, a couple people bronze. Got people, you know, promoted to district in the first 3 months, got their life license. Some other silver VIPs, life license, you know, first sale right here. So we're going to be showing y'all through this whole thing. So make sure you get on social media. Let us know what you think. Let us know what's going on. Recognize your team. We're going to show it for everybody. So use our hashtags. Mention us at Let's Get Big or Go Home on Facebook. Make sure your post's public, and it should show right up for us. So
I love when we do the list of states, because now people are posting from everywhere: Philadelphia, Louisiana, El Paso, Texas, Georgia.
Yeah, if you saw the show last
Milwaukee.
time, I can switch this social wall to where it shows like a map of the world.
Yeah, that's cool.
So anytime you post, we're gonna get that geotag. So yeah, if you post, post whatever you want, man. We'll show it up there. Just have that hashtag, and it'll be amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe tomorrow I'll show.
Oh, that would be a good
last time
idea.
it was crazy. We had people from like Chile,
I know.
and Portugal
We
last
do
time.
that. That's so awesome.
It's
right?
amazing.
Alex Trebek, man.
Nicaragua.
All right,
And from
Maryland.
Chile, Portugal.
Maryland, Las Vegas, Baltimore,
Hawaii,
Philadelphia, Virginia, California, Virginia and California maybe, Philly, North Carolina, Philadelphia. We are glad that you are all here. And so, hey, Rob's going to talk about the rally here in just a second, but I want to remind us of one thing. Every RVP needs to report. Even if you are the only RVP, you're the only person on your team, you're still on your team, right? We want to hear from all the RVPs.
So there's the graphic right there, yeah.
Yep, report
Tell
one.
us who you are. We need you to tell RVP, your last name, maybe a little more information if you got a common last name, and then tell us the number of people you got watching. Everybody report, every player on the field. So we want to know, and we're going to find out who the winner is tomorrow, and we're going to make everybody participate on those teams once we get those top base shops. So that's it. Now we want to throw to Mary, right?
We are. First of all, I'm going to shout out to Grand Prairie, Texas, Perry, Georgia, Kansas City, Missouri. Wow, some good places we haven't had a ton of. That's awesome.
Queens,
we're so glad.
Niagara Falls, Canada.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah. Look at this. This is great. We're so glad that you're with us. We are going to introduce the great NSD, Mary Hayes.
All right. Hey, get big and go home, man. It is crazy here at Unicoi. What fun it is. What a great group of people. Matt, Darla, everybody's working so hard here. But let me tell you, this girl, I was in a different hierarchy. I'm still in a different hierarchy. But I walked up to Mr. Young in 2003 at convention, and I asked for help. And he just kind of said, yeah, really, got in my face, was actually rude, crude, nasty for about an hour, and said, I first, a year later I found out, well, he had to find out if I was tough enough to run the play. But the challenge is his play was so simple. And I grew up in more complex, did a lot of investments, did a lot of F&As, did a lot of this other stuff. And he didn't talk about none of that stuff. I mean, he didn't do nothing. And I just couldn't believe that it's this simple to be $1 million earner here and have multi RVPs and have 300 offices. So what did I do? What everybody does. We don't really listen to him. Okay? And I didn't listen. I did what he said, but then I still did all the old stuff I always did. And what would happen I'd do my Smart Women Finish Rich, which everybody loves. But now I'm over here doing a debt program. I'm over here doing an investment. I'm over here doing all this crap that he don't even know what it is. And I just said, he started a planning group in January. And I said to the new planning group, I said, look, no disrespect to anybody, but I don't care about any of your opinions at all. The only brand I want to use is Andy Young's. And the other challenge is, what I found out about Andy, I had a downline, and he had a downline, that they watched somebody that had the house in their presentation. And they asked Andy, should we add the house? What do you think about the house? He goes, the house? Sure, add the house. The house is great. Add the house. I go, wait a minute. You don't even know what the hell the house is. Why are you telling them they can add the house? And he goes, because they're not listening to me. If you tell me you're going to add something to my presentation, hell, go ahead and add it. I don't care. I'll let you keep going down that road, and that road. So you better be cautious. You better listen. You better run the play. Nobody in this whole company did 22 new RVPs from scratch since the IPO. Last 45 days, I promoted 2, Nicole Price and Jeremy Morrow. Congratulations, brand new RVPs. But 90 days ago, he looked at me and said, I think you might actually be running the play now. So quit adding to his chicken soup. Don't ask him if you should add this or that. Just do what the man tells us to do so we all can get rich and get wealthy. Thank you. Give it up to Andy.
Is it me? No? And now, all right, you better watch out. Better not pout, better not cry, better not shout. Making a list, checking it twice. Anyway, yes, it's very simple. Art Williams, the video we had on Tuesday night, absolutely amazing. Talk about his little 18, 20-minute presentation he did over and over and over and over and over. So we're going to talk about that. We've got the hour and a half. I've got an hour and a half. My great friend Cindy Thompson is about to get a monster bonus check. One of my direct NSDs in Maryland, she's got it rocking. But she said I did a Zoom call for Tahi Burke, another great guy in her hierarchy. Sean was on there, Sean T. and other folks, and she said, man, that was the greatest speech. It's better than what you do on Tuesday night. And I said, I don't talk on Tuesday night. I don't give any speeches. I just introduce people and talk to people and interview and stuff like that. Well, you're doing an hour and a half here. So we're doing a little half hour tonight. We got the presentation in its entirety tomorrow. Darla cleaned me up. She brought the wash rag and some soap, a little Clorox or something, kind of clean behind the ears. And said, just do the damn presentation. Don't be doing all the little talk. You can do that too, because I'm going to do that tomorrow too. But we set it up so it's just the presentation, and then we're going to go through why, because there's a reason why in everything that gets done. Why you leave it out, why you put it in, whatever. And so shifting back to 1981, I've been in business a year. I'm a big guy that talks about double-digit recruiting, and I had recruited 10 people for the whole year. What a great start. Was a district leader for the whole year. I went to district in like the first 4 weeks. And so the bottom line, we're out there struggling, I made $5,000 full time. Don't want to give that presentation, how you can make $5,000 full time for the year. But anyway, I made a decision when my dad, I called him and I thought, man, if I could, I'm 3 months behind on this $175 a month house rent. I'm behind on everything, electric, water, you name it. And just, trying to keep my head above water, 15-year-old car, all that crap. And I said, if we could borrow $2,000 or $3,000, basically his name, because I had no credit at all, co-signed for me. Co-signed nothing, you signed. And he just said, well, you got a degree, you can go get a job, you worked before. If you can't make that thing work, then, go get a job. And I went and back in those days, you had to go to the library and look up how to do a resume. You can't do everything in Google. So I went and got the little format for the resume. I never made a resume. I came out of college in A.L. Williams, first job. So I started putting the little resume together, and I got so disgusted halfway down, it's like, I'm not doing this crap. And so the whole legendary thing is I went and talked to 700 people in 19 days. And, and people say, wait, what was it magic about the 700? Nothing. I needed 12 recruits. I wish it had been out of 12. I talked to 12 and got 12. The 700 was how long it took 719 days to get the 12. Because if you don't have 10, 15, 12, 15 recruits, you're not going to get 2 or 3 districts. And that's what I had to have more than anything. That was going to change everything. So I made a decision. Decide. You can break that down. The syllable, decide. It means you got to make a choice. And you got to cut something more than likely. A decision. Something you've been doing, you got to change it. Matricide. You kill your mother. That's a little rough. Damn. I saw Angela, that's why I thought about that. No, just kidding. It's an inside joke here. Genocide. Where Hitler, you try to wipe out a whole race. Suicide. You kill yourself. I keep doing the sides. But decide is you, and you have to choose what you're going to do, and then something's got to go. Like in the video that's always playing, I chose to win. Once I chose to win, I didn't have to think anymore. I didn't have to make any more decisions. Larry Weidel called a meeting. We're going. We were already going to Atlanta once a month. He says, I want to do that too. Awesome. My upline, he's only 300 miles away. We're 600. We're doing it. I told Peggy and the crew, I said, Laura, the Penn Belt crew, Cindy, we said, all right, we're going to go twice a month. And that's when we built 17 RVPs. We went from 17 NSDs, excuse me. We went from 4 people in a car to 17 buses in 11 months. That was a decision. So I had to go to work, and I got through the people. So one is 700. One recruit, $700 in premium. 12 months later, senior vice president with 3 RVPs. Those RVPs are my brother, Randy, today. Peggy Hightower represents one of those legs. And my, college roommate Sid just took off out of the business. Well, a parting gift, Peggy Hightower. That's always good to go. My cousin left Warren Powers. I mean, sometimes they leave a parting gift, and it's nice, And Ina Collins. I think about decisions. I had to make a decision. My mom's yelling at me because they had like a 3-inch ice storm. I mean, it was ice crazy. And we didn't have satellite weather back then. We didn't have Jim Cantori. We didn't have all the stuff with people on the Weather Channel. It looked bad, and you didn't know how long it was going to last. It started snowing, if it was going to snow for 2 minutes, 2 days, or whatever. So I go. Everybody's telling me no. Had 45 people invited. Only 4 show up. One lady, Ina Collins, comes, drives. It's a 45-minute drive. Probably took her 2 or 3 hours to get there. If I don't show up at that meeting, I guarantee you she'd never come back in. We don't have cell phones. There's no way to really contact. She drove 2 or 3 hours in that daggum weather, and we're closed down. That's insane. I knew it was something a little different because I came into the office. I got there early, but she was there an hour early. The only one. We had the secretary, Kathy Mitchell. She's in there. And if a guy from church, it was his daughter that was working with us. And Ina comes up to me and said, hi, I'm Ina Collins. Can I get you a cup of coffee, hon? I'm like, who the hell are you? You ready to roll? And that's where Kalk, Christian, Chavez, all that came from. That's insane. Tommy DiGirolamo was about to go over $1 million. Christian over $1 million. Think about that. That's the first 3 RVPs in 12 months. I made a decision and talked to people about part-time, full-time, build a platform, 5 to 12 months while you're part-time. You can build your own brokerage type business, and you could own it. So I just talked about a whole bunch of people, embrace the repetition. Go to RVP during that same 12 months. Larry Weidel tells me I'm a regional leader. Put 500 people in a room, I'll come see you. Now, a lot of you out there that are not RVPs, or even brand new RVPs, I can see you out there. It's like the romper room. I can see you. You got your little lip poked out. Bob didn't tell me about the place, but I didn't hear them. I think we should have full disclosure. I'm like, sure, I'll get the lawyers to write a book for your ass when you sign up. You can give it to every one of your new recruits. Suck it up, Buttercup. So anyway, I see you out there. If you think I'm talking about you, I am talking about you. Okay. You got to suck it up. My upline said put 500 people in a room. So I did. Less than 100 days, put 500 people in a room. My sister Pat out there, she wasn't interested in the business at all. I was like, Pat, you got to come. You got to bring people. I don't give a crap. All hands on deck, man. And so, you think about it. Turley tells me go get 60 districts. Well, I made a decision. I went and did it. 18 first, direct districts, and through them drove replacements for me and RVPs for them. Boom, you look up, in 5 years, you got 80 RVPs. Well, how do you do that? Districts. You promote districts and produce districts. Now, fast forward, and this is the whole point of the hour and a half this weekend, is that, and Darla told me tonight, because we've kind of been talking about how we're putting it together. She goes, no, you're doing the live thing tonight. I'm like, yes, I am. Okay, got it right here, Well, I know the story. So I had 29 first generations. That pretty much took about 30 months from scratch to build, less than 3 years. just like a Render and Buisan or Rusty, all those people talking about it. Francis just talked about it. It only took 2, 3, 4 years to build everything that you rode for 30, 40 years. So anyway, built 29 first, and we get up to 08. 08 was the banking crash. Well, we did mortgages here. And there's a lot of people that went too far on the mortgage side, wasn't balanced, and the mortgage challenge was it just went away one day. It's just boom, it's gone. And so all of a sudden, we're not doing it. Well, that's $250,000 in income to me. Right before we do the IPO, we're trying to get out of city. I was with John Addison multiple times. I remember being in Columbia, South Carolina, and we got a deal with one of the big companies in Alabama. Man, they're going to give us 2 planes. We're getting out of the city. Going to be free right before a football game. Monday, their stock, that company, not going to name their name, their stock went from $37 a share to $9 in one day. That deal was gone. Another big famous firm on Wall Street, everybody's heard of. They invest in our company now. They were going to buy us. Had that worked out. I mean, John had a massive stroke when he was 49 years old in 2007. So he's doing all this afterwards. I mean, literally pulling his hair. I remember so many times I'd be with him, and my job, Rick Williams, my job was give him another beer. Shake it off, little fella. It's going to be okay. I mean, this went on for like a year and a half. Finally, we get our freedom. I do my assessment. My income's down $250 off the smart. The rest of the business is okay. I mean, getting paid about $1 million a year without writing any sales for 26 years. You know, I know a lot of y'all like to write sales too. I like them too. I like a lot of people writing sales. We did like 3,000 of them in, what was that, July? Yeah, so I like that too. But I want to build a business like Francis just said, massive passive income, where you can't stop. It's like an ATM, just keeps on coming out. So anyway, I'm down from 29 RVPs to 7. I go to MIT, right around at the end, we get the IPO done. Some new RVPs got the big eyes and going, well, Mr. Young, you know, and they're probably older than me, but they're all like kids to me, like you punks out there, part of Romper Room that, you know, upset about everything. Grow up, suck it up, Buttercup. Well, they're looking at me, and they're like, have you ever had an RVP quit? I said, quit? Hell, I've had like 30 of them die. Hell, what are you talking about? They're like, die. I'm like, hell, I've been here 30 years. I mean, you do the math. You take it. I mean, the audience looking here. What's plus 30 look like on you? Oh, hell. You know, what's 40 look like? I'm here 40 years now. So I made a decision. I was going to reload, and that wasn't easy. And I also knew I had challenges because I go to football games in the fall. I hope to God I'm going to them this fall. They said UGA is only going to allot 18,000 tickets, which is not a problem because nothing's sold out. They might cost 10 times more. I mean, instead of, you know, $100, they might be $1,000 a ticket. I mean, that ain't no problem. But I got to go to football games. I have to go to the Super Bowl every year. It's the first Sunday in February every year. There's certain things that I have to do that things that don't allow me to work on a full-time schedule. A lot of travel involved. You know, I can't do it. I did it. Now, when I built those in that 30 months, you were talking about, boom, massive effort, dramatic, crazy, intense. And that's what you got to do before you start talking about taking time off. But I'm going to do it in 3 days a week. I remember Bob Safford flying in from, before he passed away, he flew into Atlanta to meet with me. We met at Marlowe's over in Tucker, Georgia. We spent 4 hours, and he said, you know, I sat down with people and did the presentation like you're talking about, a little 2-page thing, and I did it over and over and over and over and over and over, thousands of them. That's how I built my hierarchy. He says, but, you know, everybody tells me now that, and somebody, even people in primary, well, my kids don't know what a paper and a pen is. Well, somebody ought to slap you into oblivion. What do you mean I don't know what a paper and a pen is? Really? That's your excuse? Everything's got to be on a computer? Everything's got to be like, maybe somebody's got to do the presentation for you? Dana Carvey did a great thing on his, you know, millennial kids. They called him, the cable was out. He's like, call up, can you call them for me? Please, can you call the cable company? I don't know how to do it, you know. Well, if you want to make excuses, you can, but you can't make excuses to make money. You can't build nothing. So you got to be tough. I'm going to talk a little bit about that tomorrow. But I had to make the decision, I'm going to go do this thing. And what I had to do is go find people. So I harvested names, a couple hundred names. Who do you know? And after the banking crisis, who do you know is in the mortgage business? Real estate, flipping houses, concrete, nails, shingles, lumber, landscaping. Who was involved? Somebody separated, divorced, death in the family, serious illness, accident. Who do you know? I'm basically profiling what I'm looking for. Hungry, motivated people who want to do something right now because they went from bigger house, smaller house they owned to rental house. I'll go through that again tomorrow. Part of my follow-up. And part of the presentation is actually in there. But you got to harvest. That's one of the most important parts of what we do. And harvest people that have hot markets with people that they know. And so it was a big deal for me to find like Peggy and Jaron King sitting in here right now. They came in and got 23 personal recruits the first month. Wanted to win a trip to San Francisco and play golf in Pebble Beach. We had 180 recruits for them in less than 8 months. Went to RVP the first year. I mean, that's what you're looking for. One recruit away from an explosion. And so I harvest people. Today with COVID, I promise you guys, there's going to be double to triple the amount of people out there looking than were out there after 08, 09, 2010. Because a lot of businesses are completely changing their model, which means the ability to go out there and build something, a platform where you're making 6 figures. You know, I had a guy tell me the other day, I love this. Hey, he's making, high 6 figures. And I said, 800, 900? He goes, oh no, like 280. 280, would somebody making 28,000 say they make high 5 figures? 6 figures, 100,000. I'm making 28,000, a high 5 figure. What? There's going to be a whole lot of people out there that are going to lose their stuff. They're losing it right now. Just look through the news, because I know everything's just the worst. But I'm talking about there's lots of people struggling, and we have an opportunity with that to harvest people that may want to build a platform. You don't need that many. Crap, you need 3, 4, 5, 10. Well, Art said 7 to 10. So Reloaded went out, got 11 new firsts, 11 new seconds, and then people say to me, well, the security test is hard. You got to do the SIE. I know what the S stands for, SH. What the hell? I got 22 new RVPs, 20 of them passed the test. I think that's more than, who was that? Walter Charles was telling me tonight, that's more than 20, no, it was Olivier. Olivier, that's more than 90%. See, I got that statistic going for me now. But I mean, quit making excuses. Just go find some people who want to go get something done. And so that's what I did, went out there and started building, harvested names. I was big, told Bob Safford, because he was thinking about doing this. I've had so many people, and I don't want to name names, $1 million earners, people you love talking about, how can I go get another 10, 15 first? Well, you got to do the work. You got to make the decision. Got to change some things. And that wasn't easy either, because now I'm sitting for, I did 4,000, 5,000 appointments, 4,000 showed. Looking at the same knuckleheads, and almost all of them told me, no, thank you. I'll get back with you. I don't think about it. I'll do some research. Great. Go ahead and Google something, see if you can find some 35-year-old stay-at-home son playing video games in their basement who's going to do a Google search for you. What the crap? I mean, I talk to people every single day that look at me like I landed in a spaceship. I don't give a crap. And here's the thing. You have 2 kinds of coaches. Coaches who've been fired and coaches who haven't been fired yet. Don Shula, winningest coach in NFL history. If Bill Belichick has winning seasons for the next 7 years, he's not going to catch him. Winningest coach in NFL history, fired. Tom Landry, legendary coach, Dallas Cowboys, fired. Both replaced by legendary Jimmy Johnson, also fired. Because in that world, you either have players or you're asked fired. Like Ty Lue, won a championship, and all of a sudden, 2 years later, he don't know how to coach. The guy at the Cubs, Joe Madden, first World Series win in something like 104 years. 2 years later, he sucks, he's fired. Because you ain't got the players. So Primerica, you're not going to get fired. You're just not going to have any money. You can walk around because you don't have a ring, walk around at the convention. Coops, people are going to be looking for an autograph in the Financial Independence Council book, and they're going to see, RVP, and they're going to see your hands down there in your pockets. And I have a theory about that too, but this is a family program. So, what the crap? Go make some damn money. You got a contract that's 3 times bigger than what we had back in the day. So at the end of the day, you got to make the decision. You're going to go do it. Go do the work. Go through the paces. And it ain't easy. I mean, people say over and over. And I can remember, like, my tongue halfway falling asleep. Like, do 8 or 9 of them in a row. And I'm thinking, did I tell them about the, go from bigger house, smaller house they own, a rental house, separated, divorced? I'm pretty sure I said that already, but I just go ahead and say it again because they're probably not listening anyway. Just go through the paces. And went through the paces and boom. And these 22 RVPs are going to turn into 100. I can't stop it. That's what you can do. What Art Williams just said on the video tonight. Build a team where you build RVPs and RVPs who build RVPs. That's a success. Not writing everything on your pen. Hey, you can do that. You make $1 million a year at Primerica. Multiple people have done that. I don't want to do that. I want a big, massive, passive income where you build something. You got a lot of layers of successful people that do well. So it's all about the double-digit teams. I requalified for district. From scratch. After I already I'm a $1 million earner. I requalified for district. I qualified for division, regional. Got my districts in place. Qualified for RVP. Then I qualified for SVP, NSD, and SNSD. And this team that we've got to do Blitz Squad, they're averaging. Last month they did 400 recruits by 220,000. That's an SNSD hierarchy on top of a hierarchy. You could go do that, and you could do that in a short amount of time. I promise you, not 3 days a week like me. You go bust it 7 days a week, maybe take half a day off or something. But I mean, you go bust it, you can be done. I don't know anybody big in Primerica who took more than 3-4 years to go get it done. This is the greatest time ever to get it done. Tomorrow I'm going to spend an hour with you talking about specifically what I did, how I did it, but you got to make the decision. And you got to embrace the repetition, suck it up, quit making excuses, and get the job done. With that, I think we go to Darla and Rob.
All right.
All right, guys.
Great job, Andy. All right, so it's time for some recognition, is it not?
It is. Let's look at what's
pull up
come
the social
on
wall
the
real
social
quick.
wall.
It's after that last segment where I talked about it. People have really been posting.
Yes, this is
So we've got a
awesome.
lot of people that up here. I mean, you see them scrolling by. People getting their senior rep promotion, district promotion, first recruits. People making it to VIP. You see the Lavins there with the Zach and Franny. Oh man, this is great. So this is how we want this to work, right? I think we want this to be interactive. Even if we can't be in the same room, we want it to feel like we're all there together. We want to create that energy through this. You can view this thing yourself. If you go to getbiggergohome.com, right at the top, I think it's called social feed. You can click to it, you're going to see this thing right here. So this is what we're going to be using. So make sure that if you got somebody to recognize and you need to recognize yourself, maybe just pat yourself on the back. Post it on there. Hit SNSD Factory hashtag. Thank you, Andy. And yeah, if you do that on Twitter or Instagram, that's going to show up. If you're a Facebook person, you got to mention at Let's Get Bigger Go Home, and that's how you're going to do it. So give it up for all these people getting their VIP and their first sale, their first recruit. I mean, this is a big deal. People taking these milestone first steps and building a huge business.
That was well done.
Just off
Good
the top
job
of the head.
off the top of your head. That was great. Y'all know that we have no script, right? We just make this stuff up as we go. All right, still running the rally. If we've got a graphic for the rally. All right, remember, still RVPs only. We're coming to the end. We'll have one more section where we'll report what we'll call out everybody. What the heck, right? We'll call out all the RVPs who've reported. Remember, you're a leader if you're only the leader of you.
Trish just laughed in the background. I don't know this.
Yay!
3.5
Good
pages
job,
worth
you
of
guys.
base
You
shots
guys are
reporting right
rocking
now.
it. I know, but Rob's really good at calling names. So.
Oh yeah.
Right?
I mean, only 3.5 pages. That was like 6 pages over there, 7
Right.
pages. So that's not that bad.
Piece of cake. All right, remember, turn your numbers in, and I'm sorry, we're going to step back to the recognition graphic if we could with the 3 first event, first sale. We're going to continue to call for you guys as people come on, continue to send those in. Trish is over there responding, and we'd love to see your cards after you get them. Take a picture of yourself, put yourself on the wall so we can say, well, we're saying now, well, a job well done. Like Rob said, it's a great start to building a business, right? Taking the hard steps, the first ones. So what do we have next?
We got the $1 million panel.
Yes, why don't you introduce that?
So this is huge. I mean, the fact that we're giving away this kind of programming for free, well, it's not free for Andy, but it's crazy. I mean, what we're able to put together here is huge, and we're going to have you sitting here in just a moment. You're going to be dealing with, well, how many people we got? $4 million earners going to be on the line? $4 million earners pouring into you, giving you wisdom. So this is going to be huge. You want to get your notepad and paper and pencil ready because this is going to be a big deal.
Yep.
Y'all ready to take it away, Andy? Quit playing on your phone.
Me? I was winning. What the hell? Just kidding. All right, now I'm actually getting my time set up because time is important because we have a very important function after this meeting. It goes over in the tavern.
The tavern, yes.
The tavern. Taberna, tavern, whatever. Okay, we're ready to roll.
Right upstairs.
All right, so I got my partners in crime now.
This is like, hold on. Y'all seen Inception? This is like Andy-ception going on back here.
See, now people are throwing up in their mouth now. So it's, all right.
You can turn to talk to him, maybe.
No, I'll just talk right in the camera.
Okay.
I can see him right there. Okay. There's Peggy right there. How you doing, Peggy?
I'm there.
And Gustavo, you all right, buddy?
How you doing, brother?
All right. John Lavination.
We're ready, baby.
All right, sounds good. So,
I know. He's got a beard. He's got a tan.
Well, and he's got highlights on his beard, which is awesome. Anyway, can't wait to hang out with you guys at the tavern. That'll be coming sometime soon. But, you know, just think about the time we're in. I've just said it. I mean, the best 5 months in my 40-year career are March, April, May, June, and July of 2020. What the hell? Go figure that. And I know the same thing for you guys. And just talk about, like, you know, I know, John, you were there early 80s. Peggy was there and saw it just as it was. She was literally there in the 80s, though. She was in there for that. Gus heard about it and embraced the, you know, what you had to do to get it. But talk a little bit about why this is the best time that you've seen. And it really is the greatest time in the history of the company. Take, you know, 3-4 minutes if you could. Gus, why don't you go ahead and kick us off?
All right, man, absolutely. I mean, this that have definitely been our best months. Best 3 months, 4 months of our career. It's just amazing. They keep getting better and better. I think that this company, it has come to a place in time. We believe, I think we all believe that this company has been blessed by God from inception, right? But and even through going through something like this, we come out better than we were before. It's just illogical. It doesn't make sense. It just reflects the fact that this is not a logical company. And we have the perfect CEO for these times. We have absolutely everything that we need. Now with Zoom, you can actually reach out to more people, even across state lines. So all the barriers, all the mental barriers, people are breaking records. Now the bars are being set so high. And I think that, you know, in an environment like that, where all the water rises, all the boats rise together. So I think this is an absolute great time to do that. We just had a guy in our hierarchy where he just became number 102. I think they're coming out so fast, I don't even know anymore. But this guy signed, his RVP date is September 3rd, 2015. And this month, he made $156,000, did 800 recruits in his hierarchy, and $549,000 in premium. That is 60 months from RVP day. So what Andy's telling you, what he just told you right now, what the things that these people used to do back in the day when I wasn't even here, it's absolutely, those times are back. I think that this guy just opened the door for a lot of people that are going to do it even faster, but you have to make that decision and absolutely embrace the overriding system. I am such a geek that I went on the dream calculator thing and did the math of the 10 RVPs that get 10 that Art talks about. And that today, that would produce, if everyone is SNSD, today that would produce an income of $1.8 million per month. Per month, if everyone is doing just $10,000 in premium. So we need to embrace multiplication. We need to embrace recruiting and finding districts so they can go RVP. You can change your life real quick, man. I'm so excited about what's going on right now. And I cannot wait to go see you again live, man. Look at you, John, tan and a beard. I love that.
There you go. I was a little too close for comfort there, Gus, but that's all right. Get that smile.
And he got a new house too, a beach house. You're like me, you have a beach house.
At the
beach house.
Y'all hanging out at the beach. Good. Okay, Peggy Hightower.
Hey guys, it's good to see you.
Hey, let me interrupt Peggy for a second. Peggy got a big ass beach house too. I just want, and a plane. So y'all, kiss her ass.
And a plane. She's got us beat, John.
But I'm excited about it. So, John, where's your beach house?
It's in Margate, New Jersey, and Patty is there right now. But I'm back in Philly for a day. She's there now. We got it right on the bay. Zach found it. Zach, my son, the Primerica kids, they have an eye for things that their parents should buy.
Awesome.
So he found it, and we were a little bored here in Pennsylvania. And since I had to work from home, I figured I'd work from home looking at the bay.
That makes sense.
Patty's very happy. Patty is the happiest I've ever seen her.
Yeah.
She always wanted a house at the shore, and I always wanted a house on a golf course, and we now have a house at the shore.
Up next. That's awesome. Awesome. Well, like Andy, it's been like so wonderful, the program. And I have taken like 3 pages of notes. It's just amazing. Like I keep thinking about maybe this is the time that I'll grow up and really get it. You know what I'm saying? And move something in the right direction. But I just believe the times now in this company. I came in 84, and I believe the times in this company it's like so much better than it was then. What's been happening, and since COVID and even before that, is that there's just a feeling of the kind of momentum that we had during that time of, like people really wanting it and getting the job done. And I just think that's so very, very exciting. And you've got folks that are moving up that are like raising the bar, like what you talked about with the 22, like RVPs that you've done, new, not having anything to do with what you've done previously, but it's the kind of energy that's going on right now that literally the stake has been placed so much higher. People are breaking records like they never had before. It's kind of like they've lifted the lid off of your, whereas before you may have thought it was enough. But now it's like I'm getting enough for me and for all of these other people around me before. I remember, like thinking about going to $1 million, getting 700,000, and then saying, "Oh my God, that is so much money, so much more than 32,000 a year," which is what I was making as a registered nurse. But then realizing after crossing that over and seeing what happened to the whole team. So now to know that we've got 2, possibly 3 people that have a shot of going over $1 million by the time the convention comes. And we see people just, like it's just moving like popcorn. We've got the right leadership now, with Glenn. I don't know if it's because like early on he carried a briefcase too, like the way that we did. I don't know what it is, or just that he's in that synergy, or that John Addison just left it at this time, that it was put in place and ready for somebody to come and carry it. But I think what him and Peter and Julie, are doing are just phenomenal. And with what's going on, and I'm saying North Carolina, but we're like all over right now. We can be anywhere at any time. But what's going on right now with Get Big or Go Home is utterly phenomenal. It's enough to, like, if people would just plug in, it's just amazing. It's like you've got all of the pieces that belong to the puzzle, and all we got to do is plug in to know where to put the pieces. And so I can literally see RVPs coming out 6 to 9 months. You know what I'm saying? SVP, NSD, like people really popping. 30 days or less districts, right? Concentrating on getting people that want to go to districts. It's several things that I heard, but the bottom line of what really stuck with me is that you got to find people that are hungry. You talked about that, Andy. You identified, like what people have lost things, or that they had something before, that they really wanted something. I can remember early on when you talked about, when talking to people, ask about threads of success. What did they do? Like I talked about at 12 years old, I forged my mother's name in order to order Katie Didd's candy, right? Because I could sell a can for 75 cents and get to keep 25 cents of it. But it's because, like I wanted some control of my own. And there are people that did newspaper routes or whatever, but looking for, like people that really want something. You take everybody, but you're really looking for those that say, what? Like, you mean I could actually have that dream to come true for me? And they are out there now like they've never been before. I think right now is the only time that we have got to make sure that we don't miss it. And when I say don't miss it, is so much that's out there now. That out there, meaning that so many people are looking in every direction. And that we don't start thinking that because they call them doctor, lawyer, Indian chief, that I don't need to approach them. We do. I know too many doctors right now that are getting salaries from Kaiser and all other that they're making $110,000 a year, but that's tax, man. And a lot of them, the younger ones, they're still paying for, like getting out of school. Same thing with attorneys. And so it's like right now is like really, really great picking in order to get the job done. So I'm just so excited about what GLI is doing. Like I'm looking at Chris and Sean and Rodney and Brandon and what's going on, with that team, Rick and Chris Walker. And it's just amazing. The ladies that we've got coming up. I look at Jeanette, who she cash flow $14,000. She's been an RVP like for a year. Ended up doing her 2020, and that's what they're concentrating on. The younger ones, the younger RVPs that are coming out are they concentrating on 2020. The ones that are below are like, when can you do 10? So we're looking at how many double digits do we have. And so now, not only we've gone into double digits, but we've got, like folks that are doing 20, like they're doubling that up. We got some really, really nice jackets that the guys we're going to be presenting on Sunday. They'll actually have an opportunity to see those jackets where they have done that, like for 60 days. So I just, Primerica is better now than it's ever been. This SNSD factory is like it's never had before. We just got to make sure that we stay on it.
All right, that's great stuff. And John Lavin, let's see, where's he on the screen? He's there. He is. All right. Hey, John. One favor I was asked. I got this text right here. It said, "Hey, handsome." So you know who that's from. It's from Patty. Great event. You're awesome. Please have a shot for me tonight. So let her know that I'm going to oblige and take care of the shot. And I know what she drinks, so we're good. Tell us what's going on, John. I was on your Breakfast Club Monday, man. What a badass group you got. Just unbelievable stuff you got going.
Well, we thanks, Andy. First off, it's Patty and our 37th anniversary. We've been hanging out together for a lot of years, 42 years, 37 married, having a blast, having more fun than ever. And our business has exploded, and really, it's really interesting because we did an RVP meeting today, and really the only people that show up almost to our RVP meetings anymore are the same people that show up to our breakfast club.
Right.
And so we've really, our hierarchy has taken on the Breakfast Club, Get Bigger, Go Home big time. As a matter of fact, our Florida group started coming to the Get Bigger, Go Home. They came to 2 events before we weren't able to come back. And we had one of our guys, Resi Verdi, recruited 105. I think when he came to his first Get Bigger, Go Home, he had recruited 15 in a month. He was a little down. 105. His upline, Tester Sanat, almost 75. Anthony Hines' team, it's just mind-boggling what's happened. We've gotten from the Get Bigger, Go Home environment, we've got people in our business that were not here before Get Bigger, Go Home. They don't know anything different than coming to North Carolina, rallying their people there. I can't wait to get back. But I got to tell you that the 2 years that we were in the meetings reset everything for our business, reset everything. And we came back, we created a breakfast. We've been doing a Breakfast Club live, but once COVID hit, we opened it up. We did it online. We added the Wald. We were so fortunate to have the Waldens join us, which has been just an amazing blessing. And our team, I think we had 83 double-digit recruiters in our Breakfast Club out of about 150 that show up. Our hierarchy is now doing 1,100 recruits, and we did $1 million in premium. And a year ago, we were doing about half of that, maybe a little more than half of that. So we've doubled up, and a lot of that is because people grew up in this environment of double-digit recruiting. The greatest story really is under Anthony Hines' team, and that is April and Rufus Taylor. They're starting their 3rd year right now. Their first meetings they ever went to was North Carolina. They had been in RVP. This will be their 5th month. I think their 5th month now. They're at about 65,000 in income, rolling 12. This month in August, they'll cross over full ownership. So in 25 months from start, they will have gotten full, and they're not doing it with securities. They're doing it with recruiting and field training directs. They are writing, they are field training. She's probably training 15, 20 people right now. And so to watch, they made 50 grand. They made 50 grand this month as new RVP just a few months. Anthony and Maria are getting ready. They'll make over 105,000 this month. And I'm saying all of that because why is that happening? Well, I think there's a lot of reasons, and I think everybody better identify the moment. I think the reason it's happening is workers are working. Workers are working. You know, we have no delays. We have no travel time. We have no downtime. We have dark houses. There's no dark houses. They didn't show up on the Zoom, which frees us up to make more appointments. People are working at double time. I know Anthony will be talking to everybody about this, but what they've created is they've sped up the expectation. What we did in a week is being done in 3 days now. We used to calculate on our accountability calls. We used to calculate how many appointments we had in the next 7 days. And if someone had like 20 invites and interviews to op meetings or interviews for recruiting, and they had 20 kitchen tables, 40 appointments, they were like the rock star of all rock stars if they had that in 7 days. Well, Anthony started having 30-30s and 40-40s and 50 people with 100. I remember Terry Robertson one day had like 90 something appointments in the next week. What we found now is we started tracking 3 days, and the 3-day concept changed everything. People are now doing in 3 days because you can do twice as many appointments. So you can do in 3 days what you did in 7. And so that's what's happening. The workers are working and the crybabies are crying. I mean, the reality is if you want to gripe and whine and complain and the world's against me and all that, you can go, there's a whole world of people that feel that way. Then you get around some Primerica people that are winning and they look at this as, my goodness, you got a virus that people are scared of dying from. So they're thinking about life insurance. You've got a Zoom. You can do as many meetings as you want without any borders. There's no territories any longer. You can work. You're not looking for a list within 30 miles of where your office is. As a matter of fact, our office, we were able to get out of the lease, and right now we're figuring out what we're going to do. But we're breaking records without an office. We've got a 175 square foot office, and what we found is the workers are getting up and they're working all day. They're doing more appointments than ever. When you look at the world today, and everybody's talked about this, there's a lot of really, really good people, sharp people that have been successful, that have lost their stuff and won it back, or they're getting ready to lose it and they don't want to lose it, or they're saying, what am I going to do now? My business that I had doesn't work in this world. I need a new business. Well, our business works in this world. Our business is we're essential workers. So no COVID is going to stop us from being able to work. Number one, you can work from anywhere. People say, oh, this is a great home-based business. No, it's not. It's a great anywhere business. You can work from your office. You can work from Starbucks. You can work from your home. You can work from their home. However it is that you're going to do it, you can do it. There's no limits now. But the mom, I think of Jackie Ashford Ball, just had a baby, and she just went SVP. Her income's skyrocketing. Her team is growing like crazy, doing it all from home, nursing her baby. I mean, she said, I can nurse I put the screen up here, and then they can't see, and I can do whatever I have to do. I mean, how is it possible that young mothers and single parents can be with their kids, with their families, and working and making more money than they've ever made? It's because of the environment we're in. Look, here's the reality. You've got 10,000 people turning 65 years old every day. You've got millions and millions of dollars that are going to come out of 401k plans that are going to go into IRAs. You've got trillions of dollars that are going to be left to the baby boomers by their parents that are going to die. So you've got that whole world of investing that's available. Well, the last I found out, the investment people that I've got in our business that mostly do investments, they all got recruited and got an insurance license first. And most of the ones that do big, they recruited for a period of time until they decided to go do that. And I'm very, very happy with the income that we receive from our securities people. and there's a huge market, and the money's flooding into the market, and there's going to be a fortune made. But the reality is that distribution's the key. It always has been. It always will be. And the greatest investment business you can ever have comes from the field when you're field training and working with your new recruits. There's the rollover business is unbelievable. Then you got all the millennials coming. Now you got a massive number of people coming out of college with degrees and debt, and there's no jobs. There's the highest unemployment we've ever had. So you've got that happening. You've got people getting married, having kids, buying homes, losing jobs. The millennials are seeing that the job world doesn't work. Folks, I mean, you really just couldn't make this up. I mean, if you made up a story, Andy, I don't think you could make up this one. We would never have dreamed this up. So we're getting all we can get. The incomes of our hierarchy's income is up from about 600,000-700,000 up to $1.4 million right now. So the incomes are through the roof, recruiting's through the roof, success is through the roof, and we're not paying attention to a lot of the people that aren't succeeding because there are so many that are winning. But the greatest fun for me is to know there's so many more people to find that can quickly come in here. And I think in 6 months, there will be people that will come in 90 and 120 days, put themselves in a position to go RVP and do it within 6 months and a year. I think we can do it faster than we've ever done it right now. And so Patty and I have decided we're not going to miss the moment. We're going to dig in right. We know that when you work this business at certain times, you get exponential results. That's where we are right now. And so, man, I just can't wait to get back with all of you. We're so excited for tomorrow. Thanks, Andy.
All right, thanks a lot, John, Peggy, Gus. You guys knocked it out of the park, and great. You cannot wait to get back with you guys and hang out. But what an amazing time we're in this business. You heard it from the masters. Tomorrow's going to be an amazing, amazing program. But before we talk about that, I think we got a little business to take care of, right, guys?
We do.
Yeah. All right.
Give everybody a thank you. Thank you to everybody. Great applause. Now that we got it, let's,
I realized I was talking to Darla right after we threw to the panel. I was wrong. I mean, the panel was $4 million earners, but if we count the whole program, we've actually broke into double digits. Because we got Rusty and Buisan and Narinder kind of chiming in on some of the history. We got Francis. We got tomorrow we're going to have Ron Schmidt and Bruce Kalk. And then, of course, you just saw the panel right there. So $10 million earners.
10.
And we want to know, we're trying to figure out the Rally Award, what kind of base, who's got the biggest people plugged in. Why would you not want to get your people plugged in? Even if it's only a few, everything big starts small. So at some point, if you can get people in front of a bunch of winners like we're putting on the program right now, you want to just name them all off?
Would that not just make your job easier too?
Yeah,
right?
let the event do the work for you.
Let the event do the work, and then let Tuesday carry you between the events, right? Plug in right here at youtube.com, get big /get bigger go
Tuesday.
Home.
You got to use
nights.
Tuesday. We're doing it every week too.
Yep, build your training.
Small version of this.
Yep, build your training around that. Do recognition.
And nobody's got the relationships around the company like that Andy has. So the amount of the pull that he has of great speakers, it's just amazing. The program, especially with Night Glass, we're putting together every single week. So make sure you subscribe and pencil us in for pencil us in. You get permanent marker, 7 p.m.
Sharpie.
Eastern, Tuesday night.
Sharpies.
All right, so the Fishers, the Hashid.
Well, say what these are. These are RVPs reporting on the rally.
These are the base shops that have reported. All right.
Okay.
So we've got Fisher, Ashish, Palant, Tejada, Crenshaw, Ottinger, Rubio, Satisma, Heiler, Muse, Bellet, Gupta, Bacher, Nguyen, Kraus, Lane, Berryman, McGinnis, Langston, Rivsey, Willie Browse, Florinord, Walker, Alexander, Snovely, Walker again, Kofer, Goodman, Lewis, Hayes, Roach, Brutus, Charles, Marshall, Thomas, Cersei, Rodriguez, Peel, Robinson, Constancis, Marmaleo. We got Martin, Parsons, Rodriguez, Red, Charles, Troublefield, Cheeks, Lavin, Sheridan, Forsmar, Riley, Luzinaris, Moya, Scott, Constant, Hines, O'Brien, Battiston, Paris, Alvarez, Marcano, Brousseau, Walker, Proctor, Gorder, Kahn, Thomas, Ferner, Bynum, Sakanam, Hall, Hutt, Rosen, Jenkins, Nickel, Shaw, Peruccio, Burks, and Allen.
All right.
Boo.
That is phenomenal. You rock, by the way. But that's great. That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to continue to run that whole play tomorrow. We're going to just add up everything.
Yep.
Then we verify, of course, right?
It's not how many people you can get in on one night. It's how many people you can get plugged in on both segments.
Times, right? Okay. So let's go back. We're going to continue overnight. You guys can continue to send in emails to tickets@nightglass.com for first event, first recruit, and first sale. And in the morning, we will send out recognition cards for you. Please share them on the social wall. And then let's look at what we have packed in tomorrow's time.
Yeah.
Can we have the coming up next slide, please? All right, we have SNSD Bruce Kalk and Ron Schmidt, as Rob talked about earlier. We have parts 2 and 3 to Andy's complete system, more recognition, promotions. The rally continues, our top speakers from all categories, right? Our awesome audience, and so much more. Because we are an SNSD factory. And I think that we call it a night. The tavern's waiting. Y'all go get together, build your teams, have fun, fellowship, talk, and plan and dream. All right, y'all. Bye.
Oh.